Sergio Perez criticized Red Bull, Lambiase made a decision about his future, smart plan from Cadillac, and updates to F1 regulations. This and many more in this video. Let's go! Let's talk about Netflix. As you know, they usually release annually their series about Formula 1 that is called Drive to Survive. They always try to do it during the test or after it. So this year it is rumored that they will present their 8th season on 23rd February. It's the first Monday after the Bahrain test. Actually, I will be keen to see how they displayed the Papaya Rules drama, Verstappen's comeback, Hamilton disaster season. So yeah, let's wait and see till the official announcement, but that's what I read in the media recently. Zhou moved to Cadillac. Cadillac will have a new reserve driver in the face of Zhou Guanyu. I think it was a wise decision from them, as he has experience with Ferrari engines since he was their reserve driver for 2025, when comparing to Bottas, who used their engines only back in 2024 when he was in stake Alfa Romeo F1 team or whatever it's called, and Perez, who didn't all just did that on the tests in Imola when he was driving the SF23. So they will have an upper hand on the sim with him, and hopefully it will bring them some success. As the time for the 2026 livery presentation is coming, we now have left only one McLaren who haven't set the date. So Red Bull will present their car in 15th of January, Audi will present their car in 12th of January, Ferrari will have its presentations in 23rd January, plus they will do a film day in Fiorano, so just to have additional mileage to their new F1 car. Alpine and Haas both will be presented in the same day, but I think Ferrari will steal their screen time. Then in January we have left Racing Bulls, which is exactly as the Red Bull, and will be presented their car in 15th of January, and Mercedes in 22nd January. And so far as we know, the Cadillac will present its livery in 8th of February, Aston Martin in 9th of February, and Williams on the 3rd of February. So McLaren yet to set the date, and we are all waiting for it. And some small portion of news before we go to the biggest ones. As I saw yesterday in X or Twitter that F1 will be collaborating with KitKat to make this cool chocolate. I don't know how about you, but I certainly would like to try it. However, I don't know when will the huge portion of it will be dragged to the stores. But what are your thoughts? Like, are you gonna try it or no? Just leave them in the comments. Then FIA has a new rule for red flags. So as you remember, Haas has a dilemma with Oliver Bearman in Imola in Q1 when he didn't see the red flag, like after he crossed the finish line. So there was a huge scandal in the media, and right now for this season FIA will annul any lap that will be completed after the red flag was shown if the driver didn't see it or any etc. reason. So there will be less scandals of it. However, in the case of Bearman, there were some proofs that he didn't see it and his lap actually had to be counted. So let's wait and see whether it will be good or no. Then Williams will return to their old-time logo, as we already knew it in the previous year. Plus, they have a new sponsor in the face of Dashmoto, a manufacturer of electrical scooters. These scooters made with carbon fiber and will be developed in partnership with Williams, so they will go on sale in April. The team will use them during F1 weekends, and the deal is set to be for 2 years. Now let's talk about Red Bull, because there are some really interesting persons and thoughts. So the first one is that in the last few weeks in the internet there were rumors that after the season finale in Abu Dhabi, when Max lost the title by 2 points and after it GP was heartbroken, that this could be his last race not only as Max's engineer but in Red Bull in general. They say he could leave Red Bull and move to Aston Martin for a team principal role, because Newey was put there temporarily and he personally wanted Lambiase to take over him in that role. Then there were rumors that he could join Williams because James Wells wanted him there. According to the rumors as well, in the play were not only roles, but money as well. As this could have been a plan for Aston Martin, like they thought that if they take GP, so in the future if they have a fast car, it will be easier for them to invite Max. Nevertheless, I think that if someone has a fast car for 2027 and it is not Red Bull, then regardless of Newey, GP or whoever or whatever, he will go to the team that has the fastest car. Plus, GP's wife had a breast cancer, so it was truly a tough year for him to constantly be at the track to fight for Max's championship, plus going home and then fight for his wife's health with her. So there were rumors that he could work still at Red Bull, but from the factory, so that he could drive less around the world and be around his home more. However, GP stays as Max's engineer for 2026 and 2027, if I'm not mistaken. So we will hear and see this legendary duo for at least next 2 years. Sergio Perez recently gave just an interesting interview during which he told a lot about his time in Red Bull. When I first sat with Christian, he told me, we are going to race with 2 cars, because we have to run 2 cars. But this project is created for Max. If I was slower than Max, it was a problem. If I was faster, it was also a problem. Everything at Red Bull was already a problem. During my farewell with Christian, I said to him, hey, what are you going to do when it doesn't work out with Liam Lawson? He replied, no, well, there is Yuki. And when it doesn't work out with Yuki, it doesn't matter. We have many drivers. Well, you're going to use them all? He said, yes, I know. And when my farewell happened, obviously I felt sad, but deep down I knew it was for the best. I was at peace with myself and my team. I was very grateful, and that translates into me having a very good relationship with everyone. Everything, pretty much everything. At Red Bull, everything was a problem. If I was very fast, it was a problem, because of course it created a very tense environment in Red Bull. If I was faster than Max, it was a problem. If I was slower than Max, it was also a problem. So everything was a problem. Then he added that he was more comfortable than Max at the scene before the start of 2022 and was fighting for the championship, but the team was bringing updates to the car that only suited Max. From my point of view, he wasn't fighting for it, as he only won the 7th race, which is Monaco, plus was having some point deficit to Max at that time. I think that he exaggerated with the title contention, but with upgrades it's a real deal, as the drivers at Red Bull meet with a phase when they have to be comfortable with the car and upgrades that Max prefers. As you also know, the Red Bull RB17 is the car that Adrian Newey was projecting and now is officially finished. So, its characteristics: it's under 900 kg, it has 5000 RPM with an hybrid, so this translates into 1200 horsepower, 1700 kilograms of downforce. It's double its weight, active suspension and aero. It is faster than F1 car at Spa and Silverstone, but this according to some simulations. So, to have this beauty, you have to pay $5 million, plus, if I'm not mistaken, it is limited to only 15 versions. Christian Horner in contact with Max. Yeah, as Max recently told by himself that during the season, after Horner's farewell, he was in contact with him constantly, from Friday to Sunday and some other days as well. They were chatting about some private stuff or racing things like that. They were speaking about the family or racing things that Horner was supporting him. And as Max said by himself that he was in contact with Horner, but since he left the team, mood and some sporting results went up. So it probably was for the best. Plus, I read recently that there is some anxiety about manufacturers coming into this test that will be hidden from the media or journalists and etc. It should be, I think, Audi that they are the most concerned, because they haven't had an experience, they are coming with a brand new team, the brand new PU and etc. So they probably don't want to embarrass themselves, plus show a good result, because they put a lot of money, effort and people into that. So I don't know, probably it should be Audi that has to be the most concerned. but they have good pairing of rookie and experienced. They have some good stuff that they took from Red Bull and some other teams. So if they do some at least decent job and don't DNF in the first races and just show, I don't know, a progress during the season, it already will be a win. However, if they could score some podiums or, I don't know, some good points, it certainly will be an overachievement for them. Ferrari will have a strategy of having multiple specs for the test and ultimately the race, because they will be bringing the first test in Barcelona, the first spec to test the reliability for the crucial steel alloy power unit. It will be called Spec A. Then there is next, the Bahrain test. It will be called Spec B. They will gradually unlock performance with a focus on aggressive active aero, as they will be trying different modes for the straight line, when you can have boost mode that is just a common battery draining that can be used when either overtaking or defending everywhere on the track. Then there is overtaking mode. Now engineers will gradually reduce the electrical power output down from 350 kilowatts on the straights. But if a driver is within 1 second of another car as per the fire detection zone, they can use the overtake mode to keep deploying the full 350 kilowatts for longer at one or more straights on that lap. They will have 350 kilowatts until they hit 337 kilometers an hour, at which point the power deployment tapers off until stopping completely at 355 kilometers an hour. And the last one will be Australia. Spec B+. The final evolution is race ready for the opening Grand Prix. Just the final version after the test it will be ready to compete during the season. Now there is some news about the calorific value of the fuel, because the greater the power, the more engineer will be able to generate it. The problem is that high energy fuel also increases pressure and temperature inside the cylinder. If this gets too high, part of the fuel can ignite on its own before the spark plug fires. This is called auto-ignition or knock. Knock is a harmful thing, because this creates violent pressure that spikes and damages the engine, reduces reliability and forces teams to lower power to stay safe. This is why anti-detonation additives are crucial. They make the fuel more resistant to knock, so combustion stays controlled. Thanks to them, engineers can run higher compression, more boost, more aggressive ignition timing, without destroying the engine. As Honda knows a thing or two about engines, that could give them an upper hand in understanding and improving it in the new era on F1. Because it is also rumored that this thing is related to Honda. So let's probably see if there's any announcements from any journalist or sources in the future. For now, Mercedes have to supply 4 teams. However, Toto recently said that they want to lower that magnitude of the teams, because it's truly hard work has to be put, as you have to provide a lot of engines constantly. So we will find out in the future who are they willing to drop. Maybe it will be based on the performance in the new generation, because who will have more advantage or will be more powerful than Mercedes, then they are willing to drop them. And the last one for today. The FIA will activate its levers to ensure that overtaking is neither too easy nor too difficult. FIA wants to control the overtaking situation in the regulations, as they, I'm sure, will be trying to improve the rules as they will be going, since they will have feedback from the teams and maybe some fans or some people that are important to them. So they will see how those mods affect the racing and whether they should change some things to generate more and better racing or not. Thank you for watching. Drop your thoughts on this news, some changes in the comments. If you have some arguments or thoughts, leave them in the comments. We will discuss them. Hit like and subscribe button to not miss any more F1 content, because I will be producing a lot of videos about the new era and when the season starts about F1. So stay tuned for the next episodes, and I'll see you in the next one.